What's up everyone, welcome to this new top 5 support video. We are in Season 4, and now that we've had a little bit of time to play and see how things are doing, where the meta is kind of headed, we can start to think about which supports are going to be good. Now, I'm no expert. Again, the season is just starting, so the picks that I make in this video are not going to be absolute, but this is the idea that I'm getting from what I've been seeing. A lot of trends as far as early clear is pretty important for what kind of supports you're going to be looking for. So I'm going to go through the top 5 supports that I think you should be picking if you're going to be playing support. And I'm just going to go through why and just talk about the meta as well. So, as I said, the biggest thing about support right now is having clear. If you don't have clear, you're just going to be at a disadvantage early game. That doesn't mean you're going to do badly. It just means that it's more likely the other team is going to invade your camps, steal all of your stuff, get a golden XP lead, and then that could be very bad for you in the late game. This has to do with the start. Of course, now the way that you start in the dual lane is you go with your ADC as support and you go straight to the lane and you just clear a couple waves, and then whichever team clears first, they're the ones who just kind of get access to the jungle and do whatever you want. And not only that, but it's really easy to steal damage buff now, because damage buff is not something that mid and jungle get right away. So if you're a dual lane and you push up early, you can invade the damage buff before mid even gets it. And so that can lead to a lot of problems for the entire enemy team. And not only that, but you can also invade the purple buff. So there's a lot you have to think about when you're trying to pick a support. And again, clear is the biggest thing. So we'll start with my number 5 pick for best supports right now. Number 5 for me is going to be Fafnir. Now, Fafnir he's not good with clear at all. And so he does have a lot of trouble in the early game if you match him up with a good clearing ADC. Talking about like Apollo, Izanami, those are like the two big picks right now. Magical ADCs are kind of out because of the new items. Also, there's been some nerfs to like Chronos and stuff. Freya, I think, also got a nerf. So you want to definitely go with a physical ADC for in the dual lane, and then make sure Fafnir is matched up with that. I like Fafnir because of his mid to late game fights. I think the control is really good. There's no real reason why Fafnir is better than he used to be. Since he was released at the end of Season 3, he was very popular, and then at the end of the season, Terra really kind of took over, and then besides Terra, there are other picks that kind of came out, like Khepri, Sylvanas. So the way that the support meta works, and the meta for most picks, doesn't matter what role you are, is that you may have a character who's really good, but if another character gets buffed and they just kind of take their place, that might just shove them back. So that's really what happened to Fafnir at the end of Season 3. He was still really good, but there were other picks that were just way better than him, so he was kind of, not prioritized anymore. But now Terra got nerfed. She's not really up there anymore, so Fafnir has kind of, I guess, replaced her in a more viable pick. And yeah, again, his mid to late game fight is great. He has really good lane push. He has 3 stuns, a lot of control. The buff is great. I've been picking up Shield of Regrowth because you do get a self-heal off the 2. I kind of like that when I'm in Dragon form, get a little bit of extra movement speed, and has good support stats on it as well. So maybe think about that, getting Shield of Regrowth. So Fafnir I think is a solid pick. You just gotta be careful early game. And that is also why he's number 5 and not higher, because his clear is not amazing. My number 4 pick is going to be Athena. I think Athena kind of has a similar problem, not really good wave clear, but she's still a very solid support. Again, the 2 is a very strong ability. She's a really good late game character, so if you can survive that early game, try not to get invaded too hard. Don't be too aggressive, especially if you're playing against... I don't want to mention any other Guardians yet because we're going to get to them later in the list, but if you're playing against a Guardian with good clear, try not to be too aggressive because you will lose lane. And, if you get an early death, you're going to have a lot of trouble. But again, the ult is really great. They have that global pressure. You match her with like another global character like Janice or Thor, and you really have that global presence, which is good. She also has a CC immunity in her ult, which allows her to, if she needs to escape, she can use that CC immunity and then just kind of get out of a tough situation. So that's nice. Wave clear, not good. That's why she's number 4. She's still very very strong. A lot of clear. As far as builds go, I might do another support build video. I don't want to go into it too much, but Sovereignty Hardware is still good. Gauntlet of Thebes, I'm getting a lot on supports as well, and I'm trying other items out just to see what works. So Athena is my number 4 pick. Number 3 is going to be Amir. Amir has awesome clear, really really good pressure. If you have an Amir matched up with an ADC with good clear as well, you're probably going to win lane early. And he's just really really a great aggressive early character. Now late game you have to be, careful about getting caught out and because he doesn't have an escape. But he does have the wall. He can peel with the stun, and if you get a nice lead, it's not a big issue. You just have to be careful. Maybe pick up a sprint if you need it. There's definitely ways to survive with the mirror late game, but the early game pressure is really really good to have, because the ice carpet just does so much damage. So again, the pressure with him is very very key, and that's why I have him as my number 3 pick. Okay. So we have we have the first 3. Now we have our best 2 Guardians in Smite, in my opinion, right now. Number 2 is going to be Khepri. Khepri has very good clear, safe clear too. That's pretty key. Amir does have also good clear, but his clear isn't as safe as Khepri. Khepri has really long range clear with the 2. It's a good setup for the ADC to get those last hits. He also gives the ADC good protections if he hits them with the 2. The ult is a key ability to have. And, he just has good all-around control. One of the big issues with Khepri in general is that he can get caught out if you don't play him carefully, and he is a very defensive support into the mid to late game. He kind of just stands back there. He's not the best frontliner, so you kind of have to be careful about that. But early game, he can be full aggression. You can just go in, just use your stun, use your root, and just really take care of that lane pretty safely. But you have to be careful mid to late game. He also got a buff to his root, which wasn't huge, but he got a little bit more damage, which I guess is nice. So he's very, very good right now. The pressure is great. The ultimate is really good to have. It is a little tricky, but if you play Khepri at all, if you've played him in the past, you kind of get used to how to use the ult and time it well. So he's my number 2 pick. If you're playing support and let's say you go into ranked, try to keep Khepri on your list. At least that's kind of my outlook for the future. And then number 1, this god is my favorite, and it's Sylvanas. He's my favorite god, but he is really, really overpowered right now. And I don't use that term lightly, because he is overpowered with the... So, when they changed Conquest for Season 4, they made this start... I think they're trying to make it so that people could do different things and try, maybe go to lane clear wave, maybe go straight to camps, maybe do this. And so they wanted diversity, but what they in effect did without understanding is they made the early game meta even earlier. So, the end of season 3, there was a lot of invades. The early game pressure was huge, and now it's even worse. So my opinion of this meta is not super positive. I don't like that the picks for the dual lane have been really narrowed down. For instance, if you have Sylvanas is a Nami lane, you will win lane. If you don't win lane with that combo, you're a bad player, because clear is super important right now, and I think they need to do something about it. They need to fix that, because even in other lanes, mid lane is pretty dependent on clear. Soul lane not as much. You can kind of figure it out over there, because it's not like you can still kind of make it through and do all right. They are going to invade your camps, but it's not as serious as dual lane, and especially because you have the jungler over there to help you out if you need it. But dual lane, you come out with those long range autos from Sylvanas, and you have an Izanami or an Apollo, and you're stealing everything. You're stealing their damage. You're you're stealing the damage. You're stealing the purple buff. You're getting the Oracle Harpies. So, and then you can eventually rotate over to mid, get the mid camps, and it just snowballs from there. So very, very dangerous. I think they just nerfed Sylvanas in 4.2 to make his early damage a little bit a little bit less. His auto attacks that won't do as much now, which will really help with the clear issue. I think he may need another nerf after this. We'll see, but he's very strong. As far as builds go, I am also picking up Shield of Regrowth on him. You don't need it. It's not like he needs the movement speed. I think Fafnir likes Shield of Regrowth because in his ult it helps a lot, but Sylvanas doesn't need it. But I like it because the stats work. You don't get any protections, but you get cooldown reduction, HP 5, MP 5, and you get a good amount of health. But then other than that, you can go into Sovereignty, Hardware Amulets, the same kind of items. Gauntlet of Thebes is really good as well. So yeah, Sylvanas is very, very good. He also has really good setup with his root and his pull. And sustain. The healing is still very good for Sylvanas. They nerfed Curse. It didn't really matter too much. In fact, that it helped him more. Um, so yeah, so that's my number one pick, Sylvanas. If you're playing ranked right now and you really, really want to win as support, just pick Sylvanas. If it doesn't get banned somehow, which it probably will get banned in a lot of games. But if it doesn't, pick him up. It's almost guaranteed, and you should first pick him because you will most likely win dual lane. Um, so yeah, that's my thoughts on the top 5 Guardians as it is right now. As I said, things will change. Nerfs, buffs, who knows what's going to happen in the future. Um, Notable gods that I left out that you may be noticing, Terra. Terra's nerf did hurt her. She's still good. She's still valuable. The ult is still very good. Her clear is still pretty strong. But I do think that with the nerfs that she had, she's not quite top 5. I would pick Fafnir over Terra right now any day. Bacchus, the clear is bad on Bacchus, so that hurts him a lot. He's a good late game character, but I still would rather have Fafnir. I think Fafnir's wave clear is a little bit better than Bacchus, although not much better. That might be a stretch, but the ultimate with Fafnir in the mid to late game gives so much pressure, so much really good objective fighting with that ultimate as well. So I would definitely take Fafnir over Bacchus. And then the other ones, Kumba, definitely not up there. His clear sucks. Sobek is good, solid. You can definitely pick Sobek. His clear is actually pretty good for a support, but I don't think he's quite top 5. Geb, again, still very good mid to late game, bad early game, so he's not top 5 for me. Xing Chen, no. Kebraken, no. Let me go back, see if I missed anyone. Nope, I didn't. So that's it. Oh, Ares. Ares is fine. I think Ares is good. The wave clear again is really, really bad, but I think with the the control that he has with his ultimate, that's okay. So those are my top 5 picks. Again, I'll go through it. It's Fafnir, Athena, Amir, Khepri, Sylvanas. So those are the picks that I would be looking for if you're playing ranked. And yeah, so I might do another, again, a build video for supports in the future. I may also do 5 worst Guardians in the game video. I'm not sure. But yeah, so thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a great day.